The Milkbone Superman Krypto exclusive is still hanging on, but is it still the top dog? Mark Spears may need to scoot over because a new variant artist might be claiming his crown. And big news for Miles Morales. Did he just get his first arch-nemesis? Powerlift enters the scene and she's not holding back. Let's break it all down in this week's Top 10 Trending Comics. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's Top Trending Comics. Shane and I are back, and here we are talking about comic books again that are trending in our list for the first week of June. There's a lot of newbies, but there's some books from last week that returned, Shane. So immediately, what you see there, tell me.
Well, I've been trying to track down that Mark Spears one, but can't seem to find it at any local shops. That's the 1 in 20, I believe. The Mill book, that's going to be probably an expensive book, I think. The Superman book. Web of Spider-Man, I believe that one is the first Tombstone. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that cover on things, but I've never seen it in person of the last one. To me, it looks actually like Storm.
Yeah, it's definitely an indie book, and we'll talk a little bit more about that character because it's the artist that's important here for that book. But we got some books here, some returning, some new. Let's first talk about our honorable mentions, and our honorable mentions are as follows. We got the 1 in 25 pop up. I can never say apocalypse or something like that. Oh, Pin-Apocalypse. It's
Apocalypse.
Yeah, Pin-Apocalypse.
Yes.
Goodness, you gotta have to come up with these crazy names. Now you talked about that yellow cover. It's the same artist. So we're looking at this artist here. His name is Sheva Sabina, something like that. And I have this feeling this might be the person to take over the mantle of Mark Spears. He might dethrone him because every time you see an image done by this individual, it's always on the top 10 somehow.
Yeah, if he can cross over into a more mainstream book and get some covers, I think you might be right. It has that, it always reminds me of like the warplane pinup girls that Scotty Vaughn has talked about before. That's the impression I get from the artist.
Yeah, and the thing is like he's keeps jamming these out, and they just keep coming into the list. Last week I did mention this when we talked about the new comic books that we were going to see those books on these lists. There's another one coming this week, which we'll talk about a new comic book day that you need to keep an eye on. The second book here, this one hasn't even been released yet, and this is the Marvel Knights Worlds to Come. This is the 1 per store white, black and white variant. Now, what's important to know about this is that it is the return of the Marvel Knights line, but it's also the return of Joe Quesada. So there is some heat for this book. The book's going for about $25 now. I was thinking about picking it up. I saw it. I was there. My guy had it. He wanted to charge $25 for it, and I was like, excuse me. He was like, I was just pass for the time being, right?
The second thing about this book, besides in 1 per store, is that the inside, I won't give anything away, but one of the characters on the cover appears in the book and is not on the other covers. So that is also drawing some attention to this book.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last book is from Dallas Fan Expo. This is the Exquisite Corpse #1, the special edition Ivan Tao variant. It was one of the hottest books at the con, and it made the list. It didn't quite crack the top 10, but it was darn close. But it is a gorgeous cover.
Yeah, I love his art. I almost buy all of it. So.
Okay. So those are your honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and take a look at our list, starting with number 10. And we're going back to 1976. That was a great year, Shane. One of the best years ever. I'll just leave it at that.
Second to 1971.
Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man #1. This book came out in 1976, Marvel Comics. $66 for a 4.0 was the last recorded sale. However, this book goes for about $17 fine and $145 in a 9.6. It's #6 in Key Collector. 30-day sales is 57 sales. And the hype level, I want to say, is a low, but it has everything to do with the other red and blue character on the cover, and that is Tarantula.
Yeah, I always thought he was a really cool character when I first read this book. And this run, to be honest, people that chase ASM, they should just fall back on this and try to fill in their Spectacular and their Web of Spider-Man books.
Yeah, because Spectacular was the second book. So you had Amazing and success of Amazing. They gave us a second book, which was this one. I love that it was called Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man because it was kind of like more about Peter than Spider-Man. But the book, to this day, we still have Spectacular Spider-Man. And it just keeps coming back. I like Tarantula. He's just a cool looking character. And he was kind of like the Venom before Venom kind of thing, you know, and what I mean by that is the costume. But the reason why it's on the list now is that there are rumors that Tarantula might be part of Brand New Day, the Spider-Man movie, which there's a lot of rumors about a lot of characters. So they just keep throwing out characters' names. So I'm not even sure what they're going for. And I'm not even sure if any of these guys are actually going to be in the movie since we don't really have that much concrete knowledge just yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. All right. And next up is for #9. We have the book I just told you about, Detective Kaiu #1. This is a 1 in 25 Seveda Shiwabina variant. This came out just recently for Massive Publications. Listen to this. Not that, but listen. $230 near mint was the last recorded sale. The fair market value of this book is $227. It is #2 in cover price. It has a 30-day sales hype, and it's a hype of a high because this artist is hot. It has 16 sales. Now that you see this, are we seeing the second coming of Mark Spears?
I don't know. And how many of these 1 in 25s can be printed for this book, really?
It's Massive Publication, so I have a tendency Whatnot has this tendency because they kind of work together with Whatnot. So they may be a high print run. We don't know exactly. I don't know what's a high print run to a company like Massive, though.
Yeah.
But it's all about the artist and what he's been doing in his art. So be on the lookout. This is the next big guy. Like I said, move over, Mark.
Don't push him away just yet. Not
no,
yet.
And we're not going to push him away because guess what? He made it in #8. Mark Spears Monsters #1, the 5th printing 1 in 20 Mark Spears Evil Dead homage variant. This came out in 2025 for Keenspot. Last recorded sale was $100. Fair market value is $100. It's #10 in Key Collector, #6 in CBSI, #7 in cover price. 30-day sales, we got 37 sales. Hype level is a high. People love this Evil Dead homage, and I can't blame them for it.
No, it's a great cover, and the text on it is actually like a thank list. It's a bunch of people that he's thanked, which is really cool. So I think a lot of people are seeking it out because of that as well. But you're right. You cannot go wrong with how cool this homage looks. It looks amazing. It
is one of his best. I will openly admit to that. Even though I'm getting a little oversaturation on the Mark Spears thing, this one stands out for me. But yeah, I like the fact that there is thank yous, and he's thank you Comic Tom. He thanks Brian O'Malley. Thanks a couple of people, man. A lot of people in the industry. So that's pretty cool. Davis Writers, I think, is another person he thanks. It's just really cool that he takes this opportunity to utilize that thank you. So it's really cool. Like I said, Mark Spears is a really cool guy. All right. At #7, we got a book that was an honorable mention last week and made its way to the top 10 this week. And that is The Curse of Shirley Johnson, #1. The 1 in 50 Ryan Otley variant. This book came out just last week for Image Comics. $95 near mint. It's the last recorded sale. Fair market value is $99. And it's #7 in CBSI, #7 in cover price. Daily sales, 30-day daily sales of 36 sales already. Hype level is a medium. This book is still gaining traction. I like the fact that it was an honorable mention last week, but it continued its sales for this week.
Yeah. I think a lot of the drive with this is that it's a Ryan Otley cover of an Image book that isn't Invincible, and they've done a little trade. The book itself, we've talked about it a little bit, but it was a little bit confusing read for me. I liked it, and I'm hoping that, that the next issues clear it up. But yeah, I think it's more about the cover here, and obviously the 1 in 50.
Agreed. And again, it's Shirley Johnson. There's some hype around the character, and obviously going all the way back to Spawn #5 with the character. So even though it's getting some traction now and it's increased in volume, it probably won't return next week, my guess, unless issue 2 is hot.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Our next book is also a book that I'm very happy made the list, because it's all about a certain someone that we covered in our spotlight, and that's Peter David. And it is Incredible Hulk 377. This book came out from Marvel Comics in 1990. The last recorded sale of this book was $70 at a 9.6. Fair market value of this book is $18 near mint, $88 at a 9.8. It was #1 for Key Collector. 30-day sales, 45 sales. I'm going to put the hype level of a high for being #1. It had everything to do with Peter David's passing and discussion of the Hulk being part of Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, anybody that doesn't know, I think we probably both do, about the entanglement of the Hulk character with Marvel and Disney and whoever else owns the right. I don't remember at this point.
Universal.
But yeah, they can't have a standalone Hulk movie, but they can have him in other movies that he's not the main character. So that's why we got Thor Ragnarok. And we're probably going to get this because Marvel wants to keep using him. Universal doesn't want to let him go. So this is going to be the same.
Yeah, and of course they don't want to let him go, but I don't know how their contract works, because most of the contracts have been you have to produce something in order to keep the contract alive, right?
Yeah.
They haven't produced anything since the Incredible Hulk movie. So I don't understand how this rights issue works with them, how it's different from them than it was for all the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know if it's a matter of if Marvel doesn't keep using it, they lose it to Universal because of some contract that Universal has. But it doesn't seem like Universal has any intention of making a Hulk movie. Although I don't know why they wouldn't. I just don't get that.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones to me. Yeah. And I think Namor has the same kind of deal. That's why you saw him in Wakanda. But he's not the type of character that I think is going to have a main, people care for him to have his own movie.
Yeah.
I think he's always going to be part of like a side character anyway. But with Incredible Hulk, you got to want to make something with him.
Yeah. I think that if they do this right with Brand New Day, it could work because Bruce Banner could have a, kind of mentoring role for sure with Peter, being, that they're both scientist type thing. Mm-hmm. And there's some fun stuff that could happen there for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And who knows, maybe we'll get Joe Fixit. That's who I want to see. All right. Our next book here made it to the list because, first of all, it has high sales and it's a very popular character, but it has everything to do with an upcoming crossover event with DC Comics, and that's New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. This book came out in 1991 from Marvel Comics. The last recorded sale was $240 at a very fine. Fair market value of this book is $318 near mint, $429 at a 9.6. This came in #7 for Key Collector, and surprisingly has a 30-day sales of 64 sales. Hype level is a low, because it's more about Batman versus Deadpool, and I'm interested in it. What's your thoughts on Batman versus Deadpool?
So something that might move the bar on this being a low hype is the Marvel version of this book, which is going to come out first because DC's delayed, has a new Batman logo on it.
Mm.
So it'll be the first time the new Batman logo will be displayed on a book, and it's going to be on a Marvel book. So
that is interesting.
yeah, watch out for that. That might drive up the sales of the Marvel version of the book a little bit. So if you're that type of buyer, I would definitely be picking up maybe an extra copy of this, like this guy's going to.
Well, to be honest, with the crossover events like that, they produce so many copies that I'm sure they'll have 1,000,000,001 different variants of these books. I'm just curious to see which one will have a better story, because Marvel's story is done by Zeb Wells, which I'm not too thrilled about, but DC got Grant Morrison on that thing.
Yeah.
And that got me excited.
Yeah.
When I saw Grant Morrison's name.
I totally believe that the DC story will be better. And I think it was just a, organizational error that is going to allow the logo to be first out on Marvel. I don't think that they wanted that to happen, but I think that it's just looking that way now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Another book that last week was an honorable mention and now made it to number 4 in our list, Exquisite Corpse #1, the Secret Foil variant. This book came out in 2025 for Image Comics. $72 near mint was the last recorded sale. Fair market value is $76 near mint, $137.09.8. This book was #1 in cover price. 30-day sales, you got 56 sales. Hype level, this book is a high because people are loving Exquisite Corpse.
Yeah, it was a really fun read, and it was a good value. So it's interesting. And we've had 2 covers of it already in this list, well, with the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential here. I'm really looking forward to the second issue.
Yeah. And what's your take on this Fox character?
So I'm not going to give a whole lot away, but every group that is in this contest has their own champion, and each champion wears a mask. And this is one house's kind of champion. I use the term loosely, but you'll read it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So basically, they're going to be let loose in the city and have to take care of each other.
Very Hunger Games like, I take it.
Very like Hunger Games / Purge type of thing.
Awesome. Number 3 in our list, and this is another book that's returning to our list, and it's the first appearance of Tombstone with Web of Spider-Man 36, 1988 from Marvel Comics. $28 near mint was the last recorded sale. Fair market value of this book is $22 at a very fine, $120 for 9.6. Number 3 in CBSI. Number 4 in cover price. 30-day sales is 63 sales. Hype level is a medium. As I mentioned before, this is the first appearance of Tombstone, similar to the other book with Tarantula, as well as the Incredible Hulk. There's rumors that he is going to be part of Brand New Day Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man movie that's scheduled to come out next summer, but they might move it.
Yeah, this Tombstone, I'm glad he's getting some recognition. It's about time. Really cool character, cool story. They can definitely develop it more. I worry at this point with all the rumors that they're going to fall into the Spider-Man 3 trap and have too much going on.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel the same way. There's a lot of names, but then again, these are all rumors. It doesn't mean that they're actually in the movie. So we're just being fed all these names and characters. We don't know if any of them are going to be in the movie, or in fact, they're going to go somewhere completely different. Because we got Mr. Negative, we got Scorpion, we got Tombstone, we got Tarantula now, we got the Incredible Hulk. Those are 5 characters already being mentioned for this one movie. Not to mention what's going to be the connection with Avengers Doomsday. All that is part of this, and we have to go back to the story that was left behind from the last Spider-Man movie. So it's a lot.
And you have the 2 other Spider-Man. Do we get them again? that drew in a lot of money, and studios like money.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what's up. I personally love this book. I think it's a great book, especially for the price it's going for. It's definitely worth picking up. All right. Our next book is a book that was on our list. I believe it was number 1 last week, if I'm not mistaken, but it was moved to number 2, and that is Superman, A Friendship Unleashed, number 1, the Milkbone mail-in giveaway book. So if you bought the biscuits, you got the comic books, and you had to do it online. 2025 for DC Comics, $60 near mint was the last recorded sale. Fair market value of this book is $51 near mint. There are no recorded slabs. Number 2 in CBSI, number 5 in cover price. 30-day sales, 104 sales in the aftermarket. Hype level of this book is high, largely because we're almost a month away from Superman coming out, and there's a lot of hype. They're already starting to project that this movie will be the highest ranking opening week for a DC film ever. They are banking on this movie making all sorts of money.
Yeah. And I would say that even if the movie itself is not that great, which I hope that it isn't, I hope it is great, this book is kind of an unknown amount of copies, and it is going to be a very tough 9.8 when we start to see them. So collectors are going to want to collect this book, and they're going to want it in 9.8, so it's going to go up in value.
Yeah, and that's largely because the way they're being mailed. They're just being mailed. No one cares. The people are shipping, they really don't care. Nope. They don't look at it as like, we need to make this very prestige. They just put it in an envelope.
It's just sent.
Yeah, exactly. So be on the lookout for it. If I pick up a copy, I would pick it up from the secondary market rather than the Milkbone exclusive, even though that's sold out already from what last I checked. So there you have it. And our number 1 book for the week, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Miles Morales needed a villain, and I think he's finally got one. Miles Morales, Spider-Man 33. This is the Torrent Clark variant, 2025 Marvel Comics. Last recorded sale of this book was $14 near mint. Fair market value of this book is $15 near mint. It is number 9 in key collected, number 1 in CBSI, number 6 in cover price. 30-day sales is 59 sales. Hype level is at a high. This is the first cover appearance of Powerlift. Now, Miles does have other rogues, but something about this one seems to be standing out.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you the question because you're the one reads. I don't read Miles.
No, I really like it, and I hope that you're right. It kind of remains to be seen right now because the read was more it wasn't fully revealed till the very end type of thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I love this cover. I happen to get the B cover, not the A cover. I just love how he's like Miles is being busted through the trade dress. It's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a great cover. I think Powerlift has the potential of being Miles' greatest villain, but only time will tell. But I like the fact that they're finally starting to think about that. Give Miles villains that are not everybody else's villains.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do. You want a superhero to be great? It's all based on their villains. That's why Spider-Man is great. That's why Batman is great. So do the same thing for Miles, and you start building a rogues gallery, and you'll start seeing that. Well, there you have it, guys. That is your list for this week. Tell me what your thoughts on it. What books do you have? Let me know in the comments. Which books do you want to get? Which book you think you should pass up and wait for it to drop in value? And stay tuned for next week's ranking. Please do not forget to like and share and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Excelsior. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.